What's good, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. Yes, you read the title correctly. I am no longer working at Amazon. I'm going to be explaining in this video everything that went on, but don't get me wrong, you read the title correctly. I am no longer working at Amazon for now. We're gonna get into it. This is gonna be a longer video for sure, much longer than the usual ones I do. Hopefully, I'll try to make it as short as possible so I can keep you guys watching and keep you guys entertained, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to go into full detail everything that's happened over the past few months, why this is happening now, what's happening now, and just the whole thing overall. I'm going to explain the whole thing, and it's going to take a while, so please bear with me. Get some snacks if you don't already have some. Hydrate yourself, but let's get ready. Let's get into the video. So, this started way back in 2022, back in November. So, for those that don't know, I started running way back in September of 2022, and as soon as I started running, I fell in love with it. Like, I became addicted and obsessed with running. The positive difference that it made in my life, both physically and mentally, especially mentally, such a positive experience with running. It changed my life forever for the better. I fell in love with it. I became addicted. And for those who have been watching my live streams, by the way, I live stream every single Sunday on this channel. No different from this Sunday. I'll be live again this Sunday as well. But for those who watch my live streams, you'll already know what I'm talking about. But for those who don't watch my live streams, again, I'll go into more detail right now. So I started running. I fell in love with it. And in November, I had a 5K race. Towards the end of that 5K race, towards the end of the training for the 5K race, I actually ended up getting injured. I don't know exactly what happened, but basically my ankle was hurting really bad. It just felt, every time I stepped on my ankle, it felt like something was just pressing inwards. I don't know how to explain the pain. Even to this day, I still feel the pain and I still don't know how to explain it. It's just it's a pain that you can only feel if you've actually had the pain yourself. So that started happening to my ankle about a week before the race. Fast forward the race day, I was like, you know what, I've trained this hard, I've made it this far in my training. I literally spent so many hours working towards this goal of completing this race and trying to do it as fast as I can. I'm not going to stop here. So I did my race day, and about a mile into my race, my ankle was hurting like hell. Like, I felt the pain start because I rested a week. I was like, maybe I'll be fine by race day, but if not, I'll just rest afterwards. And once that time came, I was hurting after race day, or during race day. I still had a couple miles to go, and I fought through the pain. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to quit in the middle of this race. I'm not going to stop. So through that pain, I fought through. It slowed me down a bit, or a lot, but I was like, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to have trained this hard, and gone this far just to quit on race day. So I fought through the pain, and that was it. After that, I took about a week off again, or like a month off. I think it was a month. I took a month after race day because I was like, damn, like, look how much. Actually, I took a week. I was like, look how much I just put my foot through. My foot still hurts. Let me take a week off. So I took a week off. I ran again, and I was like, okay, it's not gotten any better. This is not good. Something needs to be done. So I was like, you know what? The pain's not that major. It doesn't feel like I have any broken or fractured bones or anything like that. The pain feels doable. I could still walk on my foot properly, all that good stuff. So I continued to rest. I was like, you know what? I don't need to go to the doctor. I'll be fine. So I rested for about a month. A month later, this was now about January 17th around this time, I went for another run. I was like, okay, it's been 2 months since my race now, almost 2 months. Almost 2 whole months since my race. I have not been running at all. I have been resting completely. My ankle feels pretty normal, pretty much. Like, I don't feel pain when I'm at work or anything like that. Everything feels fine. So I was like, you know what, I should be good to run now. I went on that run. Again, this was January 17th. And I felt fine during the run. I just did an easy mile, a super simple mile. That's all I did was a mile. I was incredibly slow because I had already lost all of my progress from when I used to run consistently. I became incredibly slow. But the mile was easy. Like, in terms of my lungs and my fitness and stuff, the run still felt very easy. And you know what? I felt fine, but then I woke up the next day and my ankle and my foot were hurting like hell. Like, it was hurting a lot. And as time went on after that, from every day going forward, I woke up and my foot felt worse and worse and worse. And as time progressed, it continued to feel worse. And I was like, okay, maybe it's time that I just finally schedule a doctor or see what's going to happen. So I finally scheduled an appointment with I think a pediatrician. I think that's the foot doctor. It's one of the doctors that starts with a P, but I finally scheduled this doctor with one of the doctors, whatever, the P doctor. Pretty sure it's pediatrician, but who knows. I don't know. Anyway, so I got my appointment scheduled, and I was told that I would now be medically prescribed a boot. Now, I was already wearing a boot. I bought a boot from Amazon on my own time. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to buy a medical boot. That way I can, because it was starting to hurt at work too. I was like, you know what, that way while I'm at work, I can at least alleviate some of the pain and relieve some of the pain as well. So I bought a medical boot. It was not medically prescribed, but I bought one anyway. And for about 3 weeks, I was wearing that before I finally had my doctor appointment. And then the doctor told me, okay, so now you're here. We're going to medically prescribe you a boot now. And I was like, I already have a boot at home, so I think I'm fine. I'll just continue to wear that. I was only wearing the boot at work. I wasn't wearing it outside of work, but I started wearing it after that. I started wearing it outside of work. Pretty much at all times I'm supposed to wear my boot, so that's what I was doing. I was medically prescribed the boot, and she said in 2 weeks time you should feel completely fine. Most of your pain, if not all of it, should completely go away, and then we'll start doing your physical therapy sessions. And 2 weeks later, and nothing changed. I still felt the same exact way, and I really believe it was because of work. It was because of Amazon. Even though I'm wearing the medical boot, it's not really helping my foot, which is completely injured. It's not helping my foot to be on my foot 10 hours a day, 11 hours a day, and constantly on my feet, constantly walking thousands of steps every single day. And just at work, especially if you had me do like water spider or anything like that, which they stopped asking me to do that, thankfully. My foot was just not healing because of work. So that happened after that 2-week appointment. She also said during the first appointment, she was like, if you need any accommodations at work, if you want me to tell them to move you into an office role, or if you want me to tell them to, give you some time off, or like not giving me time off, but, give me an extra break or two during my shift or anything like that. She said that if you need any of that done, I can get that done. I'll write a note for you. You'll be perfectly fine. I opted out of that. I just told her, okay, I'll let you know if I need anything, but I didn't have any intentions of doing that because I just didn't believe that Amazon would accommodate me. I was like, there's no way they're going to accommodate me. So 2 weeks later, I have my appointment. I'm medically prescribed the boot. I'm wearing it for 2 weeks. It doesn't feel any better. I go back into the appointment, and that is when she's like, okay, so now you need to get an MRI done because you should have felt way better by now. And if anything, I felt the same, if not slightly worse, from the appointment 2 weeks before. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll go do that. So I scheduled an MRI. Took a few weeks ahead of time because MRI it's a really busy area. It takes a while to schedule one. So I had to schedule one, but I was still wearing my medical boot. I was still doing things at work. But then they started sending me to outbound pick. And two things happened at once. One, they started sending me to outbound pick, and two, I got in trouble with safety. The first thing, actually, the main reason why I was like, okay, I need to do this, and I'll explain what this is in a little bit. I walked into work one day. My site has been incredibly strict with safety issues. For a while now, for like the last 2 months, they've been super strict. As soon as you walk in the doors, everyone's checking your shoes. They're making sure that they're composite toed, basically steel toed to be honest. They're making sure that they're composite toed, making sure you're wearing your safety shoes, and they're incredibly strict about it. They were letting me off the hook whenever I was wearing my medical boot. But then a safety woman saw me and she was like, you need to, first off, she gave me like this weird toe thing that's for medical boots, and she put it over my boot for the day. But she was like, you're technically not supposed to be working on the floor at all. You're no longer allowed to work there. When you're wearing a medical boot, you're not allowed to be on the floor because you need your foot to heal, and because of safety reasons, you're not allowed to work on the floor at all. So what I need you to do is, I need you to apply for an accommodation, and we'll move you into this area. And she pointed towards like the office area, because there is like a small office area at my site. I've seen some of my coworkers work there occasionally. I guess when they get accommodations, I'm not really sure on how it works, on how they were able to work there, but I've seen people that I know that do stow or do problem solve, and I've seen them work there. And so I was like, okay, so they're going to move me into the office. And at first I was like, I'll apply for that, but I'm not too worried about going into the office. I'm not stressed about it. But that happened, and then around the same exact time period, they started sending me to pick, outbound pick. And my foot was already not really recovering with stow, but with pick, my foot was in severe pain. Like, it was getting worse and worse. And mind you, this is my left foot is the one that's injured. My left ankle / foot. It was the ankle originally. It straight up transferred to the foot though. The bottom of my feet were hurting really bad, especially only my left one, but my left foot, pick was not helping at all. Pick is significantly more physically demanding than stow is. So I was going to pick, and I would avoid it some days, but some days they would basically force me to. And I even told my manager, I was like, hey, look, like, I know you need people for pick. I know that pick is I know that pick is like severely understaffed right now, because at my site, pick was extremely understaffed and they were extremely busy. I was like, I know you need me there, but it's hurting my foot way too much. Like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. It's hurting my foot too much. It's hurting, and it's making me feel worse. And on top of that too, because of my left foot pain, I was eventually moving. I started to work to where I was putting all of the pressure, all of the weight and everything onto my right leg. I was like, okay, my left leg is starting to feel significantly worse doing pick, so let me try working just on my right leg so I can alleviate some of the pain and pressure on my left foot, and hopefully I feel better that way. But then it got to the point, because of the squatting and all of that and the nature of pick. I fucking hate pick, by the way, but because of the nature of pick, it made of course my left leg was already injured. My knee on my right leg, it felt like it was going to lock up completely. My right knee was starting to hurt really bad. So I was just in this never ending thing of continuously being injured in pick and continuously getting hurt. So my knee was hurting really bad. Like, it was just hurting so much during pick, and of course my left foot was still hurting. Nothing was getting better, and I even told my manager, like, hey, I don't feel good enough. This is hurting me too much. And my manager, they basically didn't care. They could still continue to put me into pick. They didn't care at all. They didn't care about my problems or my safety issues or anything like that. They're like, sorry, you have to do pick. Send me to pick every day anyway. And I was like, man, like, this is it. Like, I'm going to apply for this accommodation and get moved into the office immediately, because I'm getting so sick and tired of this. I'm not healing. They're not being accommodating with me. They don't care about my foot hurting. They don't care about the fact that my knee is going to lock up and I might just be completely disabled at this point. I need to look out for myself. I'm going to move, or I'm going to finally apply for the accommodation and get moved into the office. I did that, and it took freaking forever. First off, it took forever to get the note from my doctor, because she was out of office when I originally asked her. So I did that. I got the note from my doctor. I finally then applied for the accommodation. It took multiple days for Amazon to reply to my accommodation. It took forever for whatever reason. And when they finally replied, they basically said, we need more information from your doctor. I was like, what? Like, so you've wasted all this time. I'm still sitting here picking, waiting for you guys to respond. You guys, all you're going to tell me back is, we need more information. Like, why couldn't you have told me that any earlier? Please tell me that earlier. And so I was like, okay, let me go back to my doctor now. And Amazon gave me some forms, gave them to my doctor through email. And I was like, sorry, they need this stuff. And my doctor was like, okay, it's going to take a few days for this to fill out. So then I had to wait even more days. And mind you, I'm still working in pick. I'm still putting myself through some severe pain. I'm still hurting. I'm not feeling any better. Every single day, things are getting significantly worse. And I'm in fear that my knee is going to lock up and I'm not going to be able to walk on either of my legs anymore. So that all this bullcrap is happening. It takes a few days, and then finally Amazon reaches out and they're like, okay, so we have finally approved your leave, but now we're going to send this to your site. So apparently the Amazon Disability and Leave Services is different from your site. So they can accept my leave or my accommodations, but they have to send it to my site specifically. And then from there, my site can approve or deny it or see how they feel. So that's what happened. They're like, okay, we're going to send you, but this are going to be your options. And they gave me a list of 4 things. The first option, you're going to be moved into the office roles. I was going to be doing something called asset tagging, which I think is what the people in my site do on the computers. They said that if your site is available for that, then we're going to send you to asset tagging / office work, basically. That was the first option. You're still going to be getting paid your regular rate, all that stuff. The second option is that if that doesn't work out, then we're going to end up moving you to the ACT program if your site is available. And then she's like, okay, let me check if your site even does the ACT program. And she's like, okay, they do. So we'll probably send you to this if the first one doesn't work. So she's like, okay, send you to the ACT program. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they can find anything. And basically what the ACT program is like you're doing charity work for Amazon, but you're still getting paid your regular rate. Your hours are just getting cut slightly. Like, instead of working 10-hour shifts, you're working 5 or 8-hour shifts 5 days a week. So I was like, okay, That's the other option. Another option, if that doesn't work out, then we'll send you home paid leave. We'll pay you completely. We'll send you home for as long as your doctor says. And that was like a worst case scenario in my opinion, because I know how leaves work at Amazon. I've been on a few leaves, especially because of COVID, and I understand how crappy they are. Like the disability and leave services team is one of the worst teams to deal with at Amazon. And I know how the whole process works. It's terrible. You can go weeks without pay, or even you can get paid in very weird ways. It's just a shitty situation to be in when it comes to the disability and leave services. So I was like, I hope it doesn't come down to that. That's like the worst case scenario. They'll send me home with pay. And then they were like, okay, but the option 4, unfortunately, is that if there's no options available for the first 3, then we're unfortunately just going to have to send you home for as long as your doctor says, and we're going to send you home with no pay at all. You will not be getting paid by us, and you will just be at home resting and recovering. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I highly doubt that's going to happen, but that is a worst case scenario option. But in my mind, I was like, that's not going to happen. So yeah, that happens. Again, this is a few days after whatever previously happened. And then my site comes back a few days later after that. It's a Tuesday now. Today's March 17th while I'm filming this video, so it's currently Friday the 17th. I was told this on Tuesday the 14th. They called me, the Disability and Leave Services called me. They're like, unfortunately, there is no options available for the asset tagging at your site, so you're not going to be able to do asset tagging, which is like the office work. You're not going to be able to work at the office because they're completely staffed right now. There's no room for you available, which I do think was kind of bullshit. I think that they just want to send me home without pay. And they're like, now there is the second option. If you do get approved of it, and if we have slots open available for you, we can do the charity work outside of Amazon. You'll get paid your same amount, but you'll be working less hours than you would a full-time job. So I was like, okay, we can look into that, but it's not guaranteed for sure. And then she was like, the third option, yeah, unfortunately, we basically she went down the option system. She was like, unfortunately, as of right now, we have decided to go with option 4 for you, and you will be getting sent home with no pay. So tomorrow, don't come into work. You are no longer working with us for the next, and until April 10th. And April 10th was the date that I was given, because that's the date that that's the date that they gave me. They gave me some estimation times, and they're like, April 10th now. You are no longer working with us until April 10th. You are on a leave of absence, unpaid, completely unpaid, and yeah, so that's it. I am now on an unpaid leave of absence until April 10th. She did say that she could try and get me into the ACT program where I do the charity stuff potentially, but that's going to take a couple weeks to set up. I already applied for it, but so far it hasn't gotten set up yet. And that was like a few days ago when I applied for it, and they emailed me and they're like, okay, we'll see. We'll look for charities in your area. So that's currently not on the books right now. And the paid leave of absence, she said that she looked at my history with Amazon. She said that you have to have a minimum of 1,600 hours worked at Amazon, or 1,200 hours, I think it was. But basically, I reached that minimum. So she was like, okay, so you can get paid for this leave. However, it's going to take several weeks to process, and you're going to have to fill out a ton of paperwork between you and your doctor. And she said that something similar happened to her before, and that whenever she went through this situation, and she did eventually end up going through the paid leave of absence option, that she wasn't able to get paid until a month into her leave already. So she basically told me, like, look, you have the potential to get paid, but one thing, first off, it's not going to be your full pay at all. It might be up to 60%, she said, like maybe up to 60% your pay. So I'm just going to assume it's going to be anywhere from 20% to like 30 or 40%. I'm going to assume it's not going to be much at all. But she did say it's not going to be your full regular pay. It's going to be up to 60%. And it's going to take several weeks, if not a month or two, to process. So basically, for the next month, I am not working at Amazon. I am not allowed in the building. I'm not getting any paychecks from Amazon, none of that. I am now doing freelance, and this is where I'm at now. This is basically what it's completely come down to. I am currently not working at Amazon, and yeah, it's been a wild ride. And whenever they first told me that I'm no longer there, and I can no longer go into the site and stuff, and that I've been sent home with no pay, whenever they first told me all this stuff, I was like, okay, I did not expect this. I did not expect this last case scenario type thing to actually happen, but it is, and here we are. And I was slightly worried at first, but then I thought about it. I was like, what's done is done. There's nothing you can do about this. There's no need to worry. If you can't control something, if you can't change something, which by that point there was nothing I can control or change, then there's absolutely no reason to worry. That's kind of how I live my life. There's no reason to worry if you can't control the situations. I was like, you know what, I could sit here and stress about this. And old me definitely would have sat here and stressed about it. Probably would have gotten super mad at Amazon. Probably would have been super frustrated. Hell, I might have even cried out. I'm like, oh my God, like, where's my next paycheck going to come? Like, I have this apartment. Am I going to get evicted? Like, how am I going to feed my pets? How am I going to feed my animals? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I would have probably went through the whole thing where I was like, damn, like, I don't know what to do. And I probably would have sat there and been stressed the hell out. But I am too old for that. I am too mature for that. I cannot allow those types of things to get me down. So I was like, first and foremost, no matter what, I need to not worry. That's the most important thing. Do not panic and do not worry. Secondly, I need to figure out what I'm going to do next, how I'm going to start making my money. So for those that don't know, I used to make videos, or I have early on back in my Amazon videos, like if you've been subscribed to the channel since like 2021, like late 2021, I used to talk about how I also did Uber Eats on the side. So I decided, you know what, I used to do it, I used to enjoy it, let me try that again. So I started doing that again. I started doing DoorDash as well. I finally got accepted with them because I had been applying for them for years and I never got accepted because they weren't hiring in my area, but they finally were this time. And just in general, I was like, you know what, I got to figure things out. And at the moment now, I'm working with DoorDash and Uber Eats and YouTube. Those are my three sources of income now. And really two, because DoorDash and Uber Eats go hand in hand. So those are my two sources of income. I am completely a freelance employee at the moment. Again, I'm not working at Amazon right now. I don't even know if I'm going to go back, to be honest. I'll talk about that in a bit, but at the moment I'm completely freelancing things. I'm not on Amazon's paycheck anymore. I'm not getting paid by them. I'm doing everything on my own now. I'm making money my own way. I'm freelancing, and honestly, I've enjoyed it a lot. I've enjoyed it a lot. I've been able to create my own schedule completely on my own. I've been able to work my own hours on my own. Everything's been going well so far, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it like a lot, and so much so that I'm actually considering not even going back to Amazon. I still don't know at this point in time. I'm still not like fully certain for sure what's going to happen, but yeah, at the moment I'm contemplating not going back at all. I'm contemplating and just, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but yeah, that's where I'm at now. That I am completely freelancing. I'm making all of my money on my own. I'm no longer on Amazon's paycheck. And yeah, it's an interesting time in my life. It's not something that I expected at all. I didn't expect any of this to happen. Kind of just came out of nowhere, and it's kind of messed up. You know, the safety team told me you need to apply for this accommodation, and we'll go send you to the office so you can work there. They lied to me. They promised me a job in the office. They told me I'd be working there, and they basically forced me out of pick and stow and all that. All that just for them to send me home, and I'm not even getting paid anymore. Like, if she would have told me that I could just, like, honestly, if I would have known that this was going to happen, I would have just took off my medical boot and just fought through the pain and got injured more and more every day. I wouldn't have cared. I would have worried about how my next check is going to come in if I don't work at Amazon. So I was like, I think it's just messed up because, again, if I was presented the option, stay home, no pay, or just take off your medical boot and fight through the pain, I would have chosen the first one if I would have known this was going to happen like a month ago. I would have chosen the first option, but safety told me to go home, and I mean, they sent me home, and just, I'm no longer there. And so, yeah, it's messed up. The whole situation's messed up. Amazon lied to me. I thought I was going to be getting paid, and there's still potential that I might be getting paid and stuff, but I'm not going to know for a while, and certainly not getting paid like next Friday. Like, my next check would be coming Friday usually. Certainly not getting paid by Amazon then. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's an interesting time. I guess I should one thing for sure is I don't want anybody to worry about me, but I'll completely do this unashamedly. If you've ever found my channel useful, or if you've ever wanted to support me, there are multiple ways to support me. Again, I am now currently a freelance employee. I am making all my money through YouTube and through doing Uber Eats and DoorDash. So you guys are a big part of my income now. Already was before, but definitely a big part of it now. I only make money through these videos, and I only make money through DoorDash and Uber Eats, which again aren't the most consistent jobs. So it's definitely one of those times where it's like, okay, back then I would kind of promote, my Streamlabs tip page. I would promote becoming a member to my channel. I would promote, all types of things like that. But I wouldn't hammer them in. I wouldn't talk about them that often at all, just because I didn't want to feel baggy. I didn't want to feel like I'm begging you guys for money and I need you to donate just to watch my channel. Like, no, you can completely watch my channel for free and all that stuff. And even now, perfectly fine for you to watch my channel and you don't have to support it more than just watching the videos, because that already helps enough. However, if you have ever found my Amazon content useful, if you've ever found any of my content useful on any of my 3 channels, just in general, or if you've ever wanted to support me further than just being a subscriber or anything like that, I'll go into detail now, unashamedly begin, because now I'm just a freelance employee. This is kind of how I have to make my money now. I will go into detail on how you can support my channel. So the first way is super chatting. So super chatting is donating to a creator directly through YouTube. So this, I believe you can press thanks on the video, like down below. I think you can press thanks somewhere on the video if you ever do enjoy a video enough. I believe that's a feature on YouTube now. That is what's called super chatting. You could super chat directly through this video, I believe. And if not, you can also super chat whenever I stream. Again, I live stream every single Sunday, so you could directly super chat to me through there. That's another option as well. And yeah, it's a good way to support the stream. You could also become a member to the channel if you ever want to support me that way. Becoming a member to the channel gives you give monthly payments towards YouTube and towards my channel, and you get perks from it. So there's that as well. You get like emojis, you get custom emojis, custom logos by your name. Your name turns green whenever you're commenting on my videos, all types of things like that. And those are some ways to support the channel. But with that being said, with those options, YouTube does take their cut. I believe YouTube's cut is 50%. So if you were to donate $10, I would only get 5 of it. So that's admittedly not my preferred way to do it. If you want to do it that way, that is perfectly fine. Whenever I live stream, I get super chats all the time, and I am extremely grateful for those super chats. But for those who don't know, it does take 50% from me. That's where I go into my Streamlabs tip page. For those who don't know, in the link in the description below and through all of my videos, I have always had a link in that description. And it's like, I think it's like, it says support the channel here, and then it's a little dash, and then there's a link behind it. If you click on that link, it should take you directly to my Streamlabs page. And there, when you donate through there, you can actually get, or it actually gives me 100% of the income that you donate. So if you donate $10, I actually get all of those $10. It goes directly through PayPal, so it's completely 100% secure and everything's safe about it. So if you've ever wanted to take, just again, I'm not trying to force anyone to do that, or I'm not saying, hey, you need to do this because look how much content I've made for you. You need to be donating to me right now, or anything like that. You can completely watch the videos for free if you want to. I am perfectly fine with that. But again, I don't feel any shame in promoting this while I'm becoming a freelance employee and while all of my money is made by things such as donations and people watching my videos. So I'll say there's many ways to support the channel. And if you've ever felt like you wanted to help me out a little bit, or if you've ever felt like I've enjoyed this guy's videos a lot, and I feel like maybe I could pay him back in any sort of way, or send money to him or something like that. If there's ever been any of that in your mind, or just if you've ever thought about that, there's always ways to support. Again, I'll go through them again. Super chatting, which you can do directly through YouTube. You can also do memberships, or you can also do the Streamlabs link down in the description below. I believe it's Streamlabs. It's something like Stream Elements or Streamlabs. It might be Stream Elements, actually. I might be saying this wrong. It's like Stream Elements or something like that. But there's a tip page somewhere down there. It says support the channel. There's the link. You click on that link, you could donate there. And yeah, I figured I'd just promote that just because, I'm going into a different era right now where I'm no longer working a secure 9-to-5 job. I'm not getting paid by a certain paycheck. There's not certain income that I can really rely on anymore. Now all of my income depends on how much I'm working. So whether it's these YouTube videos, or whether it's my door dashing, or whether it's any of that kind of stuff, whatever I'm doing, the food courier, it doesn't matter. I'm making all the money on my own. So I figured, you know what, I should reiterate the promotions that I have available, or not promotions, but the ways that you could support. So yeah, those are down in the link in the description below. But again, like I'm still doing fine. I'm not worried about losing my apartment or getting evicted like that or anything like that. I'm going to work for my money and make sure that I work properly and make sure that I don't get evicted. So none of this, again, none of it's necessary. You don't have to support the channel in that way if you don't want to. That's perfectly fine, again. But I thought I'd throw those options out there, again, because that's how I make my money now. So yeah, that's pretty much what's happened. I'm no longer working at Amazon. I'm no longer getting paid by Amazon. I'm just sitting here at home. I've been doing, again, DoorDash and Uber Eats lately. I've been doing both at the same time. And then I've been making these YouTube videos as well. Those are my only two sources of income at the moment. And I have been enjoying it. And again, like I said earlier, it might get to the point where I might just not even go back to Amazon, especially with how much they screwed me over with this. But I guess we'll see. I don't know what the future holds. I've been really loving this freelance life so far, though. I might just stick around with it and see what happens. But hey, you never know. You never know. Yeah, it's an interesting time in my life. Don't worry about me, though. Don't worry about me losing my apartment or anything like that. Don't worry about me feeding my animals. I'm all taken care of. I got it. I got this on my own. I will do this on my own. I'm going to successfully do it as always, but I thought I'd just let you guys know my situation that I'm in now and let you guys know that I'm no longer working at Amazon. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much the end of this video. I might make some more videos on this whole topic going forward about the accommodations drama, about, you know, just anything else in general. And don't worry, just because I'm not working at Amazon doesn't mean the Amazon content is going to stop either. I'm still going to do this in full force every Tuesday, every Saturday, and then there's going to be Amazon videos, and then of course every Sunday as well. I'm live streaming there. If you want to come support tomorrow, I'll be live streaming tomorrow as well on Sunday. I don't know what time exactly, but I'll be live streaming then. If you want to come support and you want to super chat through the videos, of course those are always welcomed, or the stream elements or stream labels or whatever it's called, tips in the description below as well. If you ever want to tip the channel, leave a little tip jar basically. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much the end. And if you see me during these live streams, add a little donation goal to the bottom of the screen. You'll probably know why. But again, donations are optional. You don't have to support the channel in that way if you don't want to. They are optional. I just wanted to mention that. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel down below if you haven't already. I make Amazon content like this weekly. I'll be back with a live stream tomorrow on Sunday, and then I will be back with another Amazon video on Tuesday. So again, I'm here 3 times a week on this channel, sometimes even more. But yeah, and if you want to support the channel, again, super chatting or links in the description down below. That one is my preferred one, the link in the description down below. But of course, you can go about it any way that you feel secure. And again, it's not an obligation by any means. It's just there if you want to support. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Love you all. Peace.